Hello and welcome back to another season of Softball SA Premier League, thanks to the Aqaba Hotel, and we come to you from and play on Ghanaland. Hello and welcome to the live coverage of the 2024-25 season. We've got a mouth-watering game to kick off the season. The last three seasons grand finalists, West Torrens Eagles and the Port Adelaide Magpies. I'm James Harris, your host. Alongside me calling the play-by-play is the Foster Hewitt of sports broadcasting in South Australia, Eric Bolnar. And with all the colour comments tonight is the two-time Cath Coral medalist and the #1 example of why you should never play netball, Stephanie Trzynski. Good evening.
Good evening, James. I'm really happy to be here. At last on this side of the fence tonight.
It's an exciting one to watch tonight because, like you said, James, these two teams really have been kind of the class of the competition. The last three grand finalists, the Eagles have won two of them, including the last two on the trot. But the Magpies have been just as impressive, and it's all come down to the final game. This is just the first game, but I'm sure there's a bit of, well, for the Eagles, I'm sure there's, hey, we want to just say we're the champs. And for the Magpies, they want to get that statement and say, nah, this could be our year this year.
Well, that's a good opportunity for us to look at what's changed in the off-season, perhaps the lineups and the key players, Steph.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at West Torrens, I can see at the moment you've got Maddie Scott out there in shortstop, which is going to be a massive get for West Torrens. She's had about 5 seasons off over there playing in the US in college, but she's fired up and ready to go tonight. Brought herself a bit of a cannon tonight out there at shortstop. In the outfield, a couple key changes. We've got Caitlin Holt coming into left field. So a younger West Torrens girl coming through, which is looking really promising. And of course, we've got Tahalia Sutton on the mound tonight, getting the start for the first game of the season. Made a few appearances last year, but it's so good to see the young, up-and-coming pitcher starting in such a big game tonight. And on the Port Adelaide side of things, Eric, what do we got?
Yeah, the big addition here would be Kate Geldof, and another import that Port Adelaide have added to their arsenal. It's already a loaded, talented side. They've brought in players like Brie Marcelina, who has NCAA experience. She's now played this is her third season in Australia, her second with Port Adelaide. Jess Golden, it's her third year with Port Adelaide. Then you've got Jess Maslin over at first base. She's a Cath Coral medalist. She can swing it, but Kate Geldof plays in the national team for Belgium. Around a regular collection of players on Port Adelaide. Zoe Thompson, Jess Neves, and Charlize Callahan. That core stays the same, but they just add another talented import, and it leaves ourselves with a pretty evenly matched matchup on paper here, James.
We talked about that just before we went on the broadcast, that these two teams actually on paper match up really well together, and I can't wait. Like I said, mouth-watering matchup to get us underway for the 24-25 season. Eagles just about ready to take the field, but we've got a ceremonial first pitch, I think, about to happen. The president of the Adelaide Softball Association, Anthony Weatherstone, with ball in hand, I think is going to announce the first ceremonial first pitch thrower in a moment as the two coaches come to the plate, exchange pleasantries with the umpires for a bit of a chat before we get into the 5 warm-up pitches. Do we address the elephant in the room, Stephanie? West Torrens, arguably 2 best players not playing tonight.
Yeah, you'll see Jordan over at home plate stepping up in the role as a coach this season, which is a little bit sad for West Torrens, but exciting for her and the family, no doubt, as she will be taking the season off to continue to grow her family, which is very exciting. I hope I could say that, James.
All smiles, yeah.
Okay, good.
She's all smiles. Baby boy on the way. So
yes.
number
That's
2 for the Harris family.
Yes.
And?
Yes, and I will be taking a little bit of a break this season. Suffered a bit of an injury over the winter. Hoping to play on the other side of Christmas.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Something for the West Torrens fans to look forward to. And Ben Lucas let the hair grow out in the off-season as well. Looking good, the Port Adelaide team to at least make the finals again this year. You'd be thinking that they'll want to go one more step and take out premiership number 2 for their club.
And it's an early season game. I mean, no premiership is going to be won tonight, but these are 2 rivals over the last few seasons, a few hotly contested finals games, grand finals games, very tight, but certainly meaningful premiership points on the line. Certainly when you consider that the seasons have been so close towards the end of the last couple seasons. So every point matters in this competition, as we welcome our ceremonial first pitcher.
And it's the one and only Linda Martin. We play for the Linda Martin Shield in the Softball SA Premier League, and she's going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. So quite fitting to have the legend, the Australian representative, the Cath Coral medalist, and one of the all-time greats of our game. She's not used to pitching off a plate, by the way. She's a shortstop.
Yeah, look at that. And as she lines up a perfect slow pitch strike.
And our broadcast, thank you so much to Spacequake Sports. We're back for season number 9. And so producer Brandon is on the mixer tonight, and thanks to David Margleton, but also thanks to our broadcast partner for the Arkaba Hotel. Whether it's a dining experience in the restaurant, catching the latest live action in Sporty's Bar, enjoying a comfortable and convenient stay in their accommodation rooms, or being entertained by incredible live performances, you'll always be welcome at the Ark.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been a decade of live softball coverage here. That's quite literally a whole generation of players who have been able to see themselves on camera, use it to grow their own game, build the drama of the season, and you can turn it over to the next generation now, and that would be the woman in the circle, Talia Sutton. She is going to have to shoulder some load early in the season with no Steph Drzezinski. Well, Steph's over to the right of me in the commentary box, but Steph, what do you like about Talia Sutton, and why is she capable for this job?
She just keeps getting better and better every year, every time I see her, and her demeanor and her presence on the mound for such a young pitcher who really has so much left yet to sort of experience. She's absolutely incredible. You can watch her keep her composure, unlike myself just now, keep her composure so well regardless of what's going on, which is going to be really important for her this season. She's got such a solid defense behind her, and she really needs to get into that position where she just lets the field behind her do the work.
Well, we've had our fun, the celebrity game, hopefully the first of many to come in the curtain raiser, but we are now ready for the main act. Jess Golden's leading things off for Port Adelaide. Let's hand it over to Eric Barnard for the play-by-play.
Well, Talia Sutton has the honor of throwing the first pitch of the Premier League season. The Eagles sitting on 2 straight championships, and the first pitch is off and low to Jess Golden, who has been tearing up this competition the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, stolen base machine. She's got a cannon of an arm, calls a good game behind the plate, but an exceptional leadoff.
I feel like she has that really good balance in between being really patient as that leader, but at the same time, wouldn't put it past her to have a go at the first pitch. So she's found that real good balance there and does that leadoff position really, really well.
Things just seem to happen when Jess Golden is at the plate or on base. She flares one into foul territory. That was some good hustle from Maddie Scott, who is returning to the Eagles lineup, the shortstop who made her Aussie Spirit debut with the national team this, winter gone in Australia, summer in North America, where she was playing with the Aussie Spirit. It's a very difficult infield to get anything past, especially with the addition of Maddie Scott in there on that left side, working with Lana Kaesler. Lana Kaesler is at third, Maddie Scott at short, Emma Burridge at second. She's been patrolling second on and off for, better part of a decade, you'd say. But Sophie Hoyle playing first base. Amber Hood is the catcher. And it's a first pitch walk to Jess Golden. I mentioned Amber Hood as the catcher. Steph, you have thrown a few pitches to Amber Hood. How much of a role does a catcher like Amber play in trying to navigate a young pitcher through her? Well, she's the ace right now on this Premier League squad.
Yeah, you'll notice how vocal Amber is, not obviously with her voice, but you can see her body language as well. She's so accompanying, I suppose, as a pitcher to be able to throw to. You know that she's fully locked in, she's engaged, you're sort of communicating the pitcher and catcher on a whole nother level. And Amber is going to be absolutely fantastic for Talia to throw to, because I'll say it now, Amber's one of my favourite pitchers I've ever thrown to, but don't let that go to her head. But she does that job so well.
Well, the runner is going. Jess Golden has been a menace on the base paths in the last couple of seasons, and she starts the Premier League season just the way she's been going on for the last couple years. And there's that throw from Amber Hood, made it close.
Yeah, Aqaba Hotel replay just tipping the glove of Maddie Scott, but Golden was safely into second base. You could have written that script. Jess Golden base on balls, Jess Golden stolen base.
There's a pitch thrown. It's a strike by Talia Sutton. Zoe Thompson, the left fielder, up to bat right now, really starting to emerge as a Premier League star, Zoe Thompson.
Yeah, I like seeing Zoe in that 2-hole. She's someone that you definitely just want to get some at-bats into. She watches that one for a ball. You definitely want to see her get to up, as that ball has gone wild and picked up by Emma to save an extra base, but unfortunately Jess will... Not unfortunately, sorry. But Jess, very, very well ran by Jess over at second base to find herself stand up at third.
Yeah, just getting away from both Hood and Sutton on that occasion.
With no outs so far, it gives a few options here for the Magpies, coached by Ben Lucas, to try to manufacture a run, but it's going to be a second free base to start this game, and a scary middle of the lineup in Brie Marcelino. Jess Maslin and Charlize Callahan are due up, and Marcelino is a contact hitter. She's speedy as well, and Jess Maslin is a danger anytime she steps up to plate to put one over the fence. How do you approach this now with 1-3 split and nobody out?
Yeah, it's quite a meaty part of the lineup there for Port Adelaide. Definitely not the ideal start. I think maybe just some first inning jitters.
Marcelino pipped Belle White in the last game of the season for the hitting award. So we know that she's got a bat, but Zoe Thompson's also got some wheels. Ben Lucas quoted her once as saying she's Port Adelaide's fastest runner.
That's saying a lot, because this team is sort of built on speed, especially at the top of the lineup. Golden, Thompson, and Marcelino, you might not find a faster three at the top of a lineup in this competition. This one put into play. Maddie Scott flips for one. They can't turn two. They'll trade an out for a run, and the first point on the board for Port Adelaide. It's 1-0.
Fielder's choice, 6-4 for the out made by West Torrens, but Marcelino with an RBI. Interesting that she went early in the count, seeing as that there were 2 walks. There's Jess Golden crossing the plate for the first run of the Premier League season.
The runners on first and third and nobody out. And 1 run does score, but you sort of flip the favor back towards West Torrens here. 1 out on the board, runner on first, no runners in scoring position. No huge damage done from a damaging batter. Sometimes I feel like you've just got to say, that's all right, we'll concede the 1 if we have to. That one fouled away to the right side. Jess Maslin has really, that bat has continued to stay alive. I was going to say come alive, but she was at
Port Adelaide's second best batter last season, and made got herself in the all-tournament team. What a team of the year last year, deservedly so. Very impressive batting stats. Powerhouse for the Port Adelaide team.
Moved over a few years ago from the Seacombe Tigers, and even though the Tigers have come back to the Premier League, Jess Maslin has found a home at Port Adelaide. Her first year with the team, they won the premiership, and they have not missed a grand final appearance in the Maslin era. This one pops straight up. Amber Hood navigates that clearly. And there is 2 quick outs, a ground ball and a cheap fly ball in foul territory worked by Talia Sutton with just 1 run crossing the plate. That's some maturity from the 16-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely nerves are still coming up to the 3-4-5 hitters against Port Adelaide with runs on 1 and 3 and none out. For her to come out of this with a runner on 1, 2 out, and 1 of those runs scored, she'd have to be starting to feel like she's settling in now.
Charlize Callahan, though, the batter for the Magpies. And she has been a bit of a West Torrens killer over the last few seasons. Always seems to bring the A game when...
I feel targeted, Eric.
Player of the grand final the year they won.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlize has some really, really good hitting power behind her. She seems to just be able to make connection too, no matter where the ball is.
Well, she makes connection. Kaesler will back up. And Talia Sutton got into some trouble earlier with 2 walks, but 3 softly hit balls result in 3 outs, and you trade that 1 run. And West Torrens still very much in the game when they were sort of hanging on early.
Aqaba Hotel, Lana Kaiser making the catch. You're right, Eric. Runners at 1 and 3 with none out. Current hitting champ up to bat with Maslin and Callahan to follow. You thought it was trouble for the West Torrens early, but the youngster has got him out of that. What I did notice during that innings, Eric, was that the Port Adelaide runners were so alert. They were trying to look for every single little base that they could take, whereas West Torrens didn't seem like they were too switched on. They nearly gave up a base to Marcelino, even with that foul fly that Amber Hood took. So watch for Port Adelaide to be good around the bases tonight.
Just the 2 free bases coming back to bite West Torrens, but not in a huge way. We will flip the lineup card over as West Torrens will come up to bat, but around the field for Port Adelaide, Zoe Thompson in left. Kate Geldof makes her South Australian debut at center field. Jess Neves at right field. Their infield, yeah, it looks pretty good. Charlize Callahan has been patrolling the hot corner for the last half-decade. Brie Marcelino brings her NCAA experience in her 2nd season with Port Adelaide. Montana Edwards, reliable at second. Jess Maslin has played first base before, but she played left field for Port Adelaide the last couple of seasons. She's at first. Jess Golden catching, but the woman in the circle is someone who, well, rarely missed an inning of work all last year. The workhorse of the Premier League last season, it's Liz Angler, and she carried this team in the circle all the way to a grand final appearance, and she'll have to be just as good this year again.
Absolute workhorse. You took the words out of my mouth there. It's very impressive how much she threw last year, and like physically and mentally, the fact that she stayed so switched on, I think will definitely benefit her going into this season.
Angler led the league in innings pitched and strikeouts last year.
Oh, she misses that one on the outside. That was a good pitch.
Amber,
just finding the zone early on, I think.
Amber Hood, a national champion and multiple-time Premier League champion, followed by Maddie Scott and Lana Kaesler, lead things off in a very difficult 1-2-3. Amber Hood grounds it over to Marcelino, and there's that quick release that we've got so used to at shortstop with Brie Marcelino, and that ball left her hands in a hurry.
Just missed it, didn't she? It was nearly up the middle, but one thing we noticed about Marcelino is she's got incredible range, and it's on show.
And a quicker transfer, I think.
Yeah, great transfer. I think she had something like 11 plays in last year's grand final.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few 6-3s out of her.
Maddie Scott goes swinging in her return to the Premier League. She spent the last number of years over at college, started at Odessa, a community college, transferred to a D1 program, played at Western Kentucky. An impressed Australian Eastern Kentucky, sorry.
Steph gave
That's
me
a
the
big
stink
mistake
eye
there,
just
yeah.
then.
That's a bad mistake to make in
Eastern.
the Kentucky rivalry.
I love that
Go
from
Hawks.
Maddie, though. You see that first pitch, she absolutely swung at, like, took a huge cut, missed it, and then came straight back up showing short game. Love that versatility from her as she peppers that one down the line. That's extra bases, at least going into second. Will she push for third? And no, she's not. But what a way for Maddie to start her return to the Premier League today.
And Steph, you've had to make a return to the local competition after playing over at college as well. Did you feel some anxiety when you were coming back as well? What would Maddie have been feeling?
Oh, absolutely. I know for a fact that Maddie was a bit nervous today. I think there's nothing like coming home and playing at your home ground in front of all your friends and family. So I know that this will mean the world to her today.
That was just like what West Torrens did to England in the final series last year. Outside pitches going with it, and she just drilled it for a double down the line. First hit of the Aqaba Premier League season goes to Maddie Scott.
Sort of a check swing right over to Brie Marcelino, and again, she's a ball magnet. She makes the play on a very dangerous batter in Lana Kaesler, who's been, well, she's been the Port Adelaide killer in the last couple of seasons at least.
She barely swung on that too. She'd probably be kicking herself for that check swing. But Liz has been so effective against West Torrens, just living on that outside edge. So for Maddie Scott to come up and hit that straight away will be really good signs for her.
Pitch on the inside to Emma Burridge. Another player that took some time away from softball but then came back last season and made a huge impact on this West Torrens team.
So clean with their skills in the infield.
Straight off the head.
Yeah.
Straight off the head of Jess's catching just then. Doesn't seem too phased. Picked it up.
Burridge in the middle of the lineup with a runner in scoring position. Trying to even the ledger. That pitch just slips away and gets away from Golden. It's going to move the runner to third.
Yeah, good running from Maddie Scott, getting a big jump at second base and able to take advantage of anything that's loose from behind the plate.
Yeah, it looks like it might have been a bit of a miscommunication there between Jess and Liz, just starting the season off, getting those signals in check.
Yeah, with a runner on two, you mix the signal pattern up a little bit sometimes.
Well, sometimes if you've got a cheeky second baseman out there picking your signals, you might. Not sure if Maddie was doing that tonight.
And a swing and a miss. Evens the count up at 2s. So a big early moment. Burridge looking for a base hit to tie the game. Ball slips away, full count.
Going on last year's numbers, you can pretty much count on a strikeout an inning for Engler.
Just staying alive, Emma Burridge. Stays on it, though. Fouls it straight back. It's a good battle between these two. These players haven't played a high-level game in 6 or 7 months since the grand final ended at the end of March. And Burridge slashes one to the right field. It'll tie the game. Neves knocks it down, but a lengthy battle won by Burridge. And West Torrens have evened the score.
Emma does such a good job to let that ball travel and just sort of peppers it out into right field. Solid hit, and that's that pitch that Liz has been so effective against the West Torrens lineup previously. So really good to see Emma making that adjustment. So we'll have to see how Liz and the rest of Port Adelaide can adjust to that, knowing that West Torrens might be onto that pitch from the get-go.
Things were looking dicey for West Torrens from the get-go. 2 straight walks to start the game in their defensive inning, but they allowed just the 1 run. And when it looked like they could go down by multiple scores facing the middle of the Port Adelaide lineup, instead they're going to leave the first inning at least tied or perhaps better with Sophie Hoyle up to plate here.
That was a nice pitch by Liz. Up and in on the hitter's hand for a called strike.
What can you do with that?
Hope that you can foul it off, I think.
Or just be thankful it was strike 1.
Yeah, correct.
Well, she's got Sophie Hoyle on 2 strikes again. Into foul territory, Charlize Callahan having a look. The ball had enough get up and go to scoot over the West Torrens dugout.
That was that same sort of pitch up and in that Sophie got her hand soon pulled it foul. So you can see Liz sort of setting up that high and in and that low and away, going back between those to try and catch her looking or swinging.
Hoyle skied to the air, and all 3 outs in the inning come through the glove of Brie Marcelino. But it's a 2-out RBI single to right field from Emma Burridge. That's the big moment for West Torrens. And we're right back where we started. At the end of 1, it's all tied up.
Well, you want to know how to win a game against Port Adelaide. Keep it away from that lady there, Brianne Marcelino. Just picking up where she left off last season, dominant in that shortstop position, making all 3 plays. And at the end of 1 complete inning, it's tied at 1-1. Like we said, pretty evenly matched teams. These on paper. One of Eric's old sayings, the bottom of the order.
7, 8, 9 get it done. That's how games are won.
So that might be the
It
difference.
was Plato. It wasn't me, but you know.
Okay, Plato. Yeah, sure. But we may very well see the difference in this game coming from the bottom half of the order. We'll get a look at both teams, 6, 7, 8, 9 in this inning. And this is round 1 of the Premier League for season 24-25. More games to come this Saturday. Seacombe versus West Torrens, Hills Heat versus Walkerville, and at 3 p.m. live on Spacequake Sports, Sturt Falcons versus the Port Adelaide Magpies.
Liz Angler leads things off. The pitcher playing now in her 3rd season with the Port Adelaide Magpies over the course of 4 years. Played NCAA softball, then played in Germany with the Bonn Capitals, and now has moved to South Australia permanently, by the sounds of it at least. Permanently for now, who knows?
Indefinitely?
But permanently, indefinitely, maybe.
Well, something in the water at Port Adelaide. Yo Grauer did the same thing. She made the move. She never went back, did she? After COVID.
Oh yeah.
Now Liz Angler. Let's hope she sticks around for a while.
Knocked over towards the left side. That one goes foul. Such a key part of that Port Adelaide team last season.
Port Adelaide started off that first inning really well with a couple of patient walks, and then you could see the next 3, 4, 5 hitters got really aggressive, and that's what sort of generated those outs for West Torrens. So you'll see that key thing for Talia is to try and get ahead of the batter. She started with a strike here, and all of a sudden she's in that 1-2 count. So good signs for Talia, getting ahead of the count, but maybe that's something that Port Adelaide need to think about, is that sort of discipline at the plate with the young pitcher. It's a great pitch to lay off. Good pitch by Talia, but also a great pitch to lay off by Liz.
2-2 count coming up to the veteran Angler. And she gets the strikeout. Talia Sutton. What an at-bat versus Liz Angler. Freezes her. And that's her first strikeout of the evening.
I'm leaving it to the expert.
You can see Amber sets up. Yeah, look at that strike zone. We'll see that ball just come through and absolutely nail just the edge of that strike zone. What great location. You can see completely froze Liz there as a hitter.
And that just shows the quality of the blue behind the plate as well. Damien McCauley appreciation moment there. Ball cutting the corner of the zone, and Spacequake Sports just stepping up your game.
I want to see more of that.
Season
that
9.
was impressive.
Kate Geldof with her Premier League debut. Plays on the Belgium national team. She's hit .360 across the past 2 European championships while playing for Belgium. Has played in the top league in Belgium, has played in the top league in the Netherlands. I don't think they're too far apart, so I'm sure you could do both quite easily.
Particularly if your games are on different days as well. Saw plenty do that in my time in the Netherlands. Steph, you mentioned the Belgian player.
Well, she flies one out towards right field. Jackie Beal having a look. That drops in front of the fence. Geldof can fly. She led her Belgian competition in stolen bases, and she's going to stand in at 3 with a Premier League debut triple.
Welcome to Adelaide and the Softball SA Premier League, Kate Geldof.
Well, we know she can run, that's for sure. She can hit too. She didn't even swing the whole way through that. Just made really good contact, knew straight off the bat, and she was off. At least she did a good job to read it, but there was absolutely no stopping her at third base as we saw the ball sail over the top of it. West Torrens third base, but
good backup from Caitlin
great backup by the youngster Caitlin Holt down at third base.
Montana Edwards has a runner at third and 1 out.
Batting at 8 just doesn't do Montana Edwards justice. Just great technique, looks really good in the box, looks comfortable.
It's just such a tough lineup to crack in general if you look at this Port Adelaide lineup, filled with NCAA talent, players that have played for their country, whether that be players like Zoe Thompson at a junior level or Kate Geldof with Belgium, Jess Maslin's being one of the best in the competition for a decade. It is a tough lineup to navigate as a pitcher, I'm sure, Steph Drzezinski.
Yeah, Port Adelaide hitting is extremely aggressive. You know that they're going to give you a good run for your money any given day.
Certainly demands the best of you when you're in the circle. Sutton changes pace a bit, and will be a 3-1 count for Montana Edwards. Who can turn on it? Grounded to short. Matty Scott tried to check the runner. He'll score, so they'll trade an out for a run for the second time today. Both RBIs coming on fielder's choices, or that one wasn't even a fielder's choice. It was just a sacrifice, but a 6-3 putout, and it is a 2-1 ball game.
Not a bad move by Matty there to play the out at 1. You'll see straight away as soon as that ball was hit, the runner on third, Kate, didn't miss a beat. She was running home from the get-go, especially in a game like this where you know both teams are going to score runs, right? To take that safe out, and now we've got no one on base. We've got the 9-hitter up before we lead up into that sort of 1, 2, 3 of the lineup again. Not a bad move at all by Matty.
Playing the probabilities.
Absolutely.
Jess Neves. Base is clear now. To add to your point, Steph, probably adds to that, knowing that if there was a couple runners on base and Jess Golden and Zoe Thompson lurking in behind Jess Neves, it potentially adds even more pressure to a young pitcher.
And Jess is, let me tell you, fantastic at finding a way to just work her magic and get on base. No matter how she does it, she seems to find a way to get on base. So she is not who you want in the 9-hole with 1, 2, and 3 right behind her.
The magician, they call her. She was already in a hitter's count in this at-bat. Neves has been around this Premier League competition a long while as well. She's played for the Stars, South Australia's state team. That ball in the dirt. Won a premiership. She's got a couple things in the cabinet, Jess Neves.
Handy on the soccer pitch as well.
Full count. Yeah, a lot of athletes in general in this Premier League competition, but in particular on this Port Adelaide squad.
Any netballers out there?
Yeah.
Just me, apparently.
Just you. Former netballer?
Former netballer. I don't think it'll be happening again anytime soon.
Change of pace from Sutton.
How about the range from Emma Burridge? She makes the play. 1 run, scores again. Although it's just been the triple that Talia Sutton has given up through the first time through this lineup for Port Adelaide. No other hits have been allowed by the youngster. 2 runs have crossed the plate. So Port Adelaide doing a good job of manufacturing runs despite only having 1 hit in this ballgame.
Yeah, it was a good shot as well from Kate Geldof, a triple. So sure her family and friends back in Belgium would have enjoyed that one. Spent a little bit of time in Belgium in the off-season, Jordan and I and our family. So hi to Shannon. Aqaba replay showed Emma Burridge and the range that you mentioned, Eric. Welcome to the Arc, our broadcast partner for the Premier League season.
You know, I went to the Aqaba not long ago, actually. I've got a beautiful little setup there.
I've been to Sporty's Bar in the off-season.
The refreshed Sporty's Bar.
Yeah. You used to one of your old haunts with the Adelaide Bite, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I have a feeling, I mean, they're a big supporter of local sports, so I have a feeling you might see them around the baseball diamonds as well.
Jackie was here tonight from representing Aqaba, drew the door prize, so to speak, West Beach Parks accommodation voucher. But don't forget, you can get rooms at the Aqaba.
I've watched many Socceroos games at the Aqaba. It's a good place to watch some live sport, even in the middle of the night. In the times, especially if you're like a Premier League soccer fan at the Arc, they play games at like 2 in the morning. You can go find the very obscure, like, Arsenal fan club that's all there, packing the Arc, because they accommodate for it. It's a good spot. We got to get some softball on those TVs at the Arc. I know they can do it.
They did. They played the opening game of this year's World Championships, Australia versus Japan. Thanks to the Arcabar for that.
Hopefully we can get the Premier League on their screens too. Alicia Marchink leads things off. Batting 6 in the lineup. Caitlin Holt will follow. Talia Sutton also due up in this inning. We saw the 6, 7, 8, 9 portion of the lineup for Port Adelaide just strike and score a run. What can West Torrens counter with? A couple experienced players in the 6 to 9 range in Marchink and Beal, but Caitlin Holt and Talia Sutton very much trying to make the name for themselves on this West Torrens squad. Engler trying to work inside. It's a 3-1 count, I think.
3-1 count, yeah. Fell behind a little bit. Started on the inside corner, but couldn't quite find it. She's gone back into that outside corner and just missed as Alicia's drawn a lead-off walk.
Well, what can Caitlin Holt do? Another one of these West Torrens youngsters. Every year, West Torrens seems to bring about a young 16, 17-year-old, and somehow they always seem to make an impact. So, pretty good program West Torrens seems to have.
What a great opportunity for Caitlin to come up. First game of the season against, you know, the last year's premiership rematch, a quality pitcher in Liz, and she's got this awesome opportunity to come up and play some quality stuff. We're on a Wednesday night in the school holidays, nonetheless.
Year 11 student, I think, Caitlin Holt. Year 12?
Talia's year 11. I don't know. Caitlin might be a year ahead of her. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Year 12. There we go. Fouls that one down the right field line, just off the plate.
Has been waiting in the wings at West Torrens a bit, hasn't she? With the talent that the West Torrens lineup just continues to produce, and great to see she's getting an opportunity this season.
Yeah, there's definitely some veterans in that West Torrens lineup. Opportunity for the young ones to come through and some really good role models for them. So nice to see them sort of just filtering through with some really good support in the older teammates around them.
Well, when you need to push your way in a lineup that is filled with quality, it usually is because you are that yourself, quality. Puts a swing on it. It's a dribbler over to second base. Neves had to be quick on it. She advances the runner into scoring position. So it's still a productive at-bat for Caitlin Holt.
Tricky one. Edwards fields pretty deep at second base. She comes to get it, avoids the contact with the runner and makes a clean play. Just jammed a little bit there, Holt, for the first out.
Talia Sutton can help herself. The pitcher comes up to bat with a runner in scoring position. West Torrens theoretically have 2 cracks at it. Emma Burridge drove in a runner from second base with 2 out in the first inning. That's how West Torrens scored their run.
Talking about opportunity, what a great opportunity for young Talia to not only pitch, but the trust and it must feel so good to have that coach turn around and say, no, we believe in you to pitch, we believe in you to hit as well.
So knocked up in the air into foul territory. Golden gave a good run to it, but quickly ran out of real estate.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the trust in the young player, Steph, when you mentioned she's getting the opportunity not only pitch but hit as well. And she's smiling.
Lays off a pitch down low. It's a ball on the board for Talia Sutton. Golden out of real estate again. She's got the bat on ball on a couple of these pitches here. It's turned into a plucky at bat. It'll go at least 5 pitches. Sutton in year 11 at school. Also on school holidays. That's what it is. It's school holiday time here in South Australia. That's a check, but she did lay off the pitch that was upstairs, and Sutton was down early in the count and has now worked this full.
Always a nervous way as a batter.
Yeah.
Grounds it just in front of the plate. Well played from Angler, and that was a good battle and a great effort from Talia Sutton. The runner will advance to third. She didn't make it easy on Liz Angler, did she?
Yeah, she got through the count really well, as you said, Eric. She battled back from a 1-2 count and managed to advance the runner. So job done, right? Your percentage chances of scoring a run with the runner on third rather than second improves out of sight.
Jackie Beal makes contact, knocks it back. West Torrens scored their early run off 2 hits, one from Maddie Scott, one from Emma Burridge in the first inning. Since then, 3 outs and a walk. All the while, West Torrens took the lead in the top half of the second inning.
Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide took the lead. Port Adelaide. West Torrens gave up the lead. I don't know. Jackie Beal, though, has been a mainstay in this West Torrens lineup for the last number of seasons. He's done some good work as that sort of second leadoff batter at number 9.
Golden with the pick of a tent over at third base. She likes to throw it around a little bit, but I was just going to mention Jackie Beal, she just looks so balanced up in the box this season. She looks comfortable as a veteran of this team now.
Yeah, her left-handed hitting has come a really long way. Oh, she fans at that one. Oh, you're going to have to claim that one,
that's
James.
mine. My apologies to Jackie Beal, but that's Liz Engler's first strikeout of the game, and after 2 complete, Port Adelaide do have the lead 2-1. Let's have a look at the Arkabar replay and the Spacequake Sports strike zone.
Fantastic pitch by Liz, just on the outside, close enough for Jackie to sort of swing at, but was struggling to get ball on it.
Now, we should say that's not an exact strike zone for all you couch umpires at home, but it's a pretty good guide to where that zone might be from a pitching perspective, from a hitting perspective, from both sides of the ball. It's a pretty good resource to have, actually, and really shows pitches like that, one's tailing away from the plate and how far they actually move.
You are watching the Softball SA Premier League. It is our 81st season. It's the 9th year that we've been broadcasting on Spacequake Sports, and thanks to our broadcast partner, Arkabar Hotel and MC Sportswear. You're watching the grand final rematch from, or not just last year, from the last 3 years. Port Adelaide won 3 years ago. West Torrens won the next 2, and these 2 teams are probably favourites to finish in the top couple again this year, you'd say.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's always a bit interesting to see how the season starts, see who turns up, see who's come out of the woodwork, and every year there's potentially some new teams out there that are going to fight for the top, but obviously these 2 teams have been up there for a while. I can't wait to see what other teams are going to sort of challenge and step up to the plate this year. Sturt normally around the mark, I think, so they'll probably want to get back up there.
Well, let's continue that chat in the next inning break, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I know that there's a couple more imports to see. Bree Lint, who's our new staff member at Softball SA, and I had a chat. I think there's 13 or 14 players from either interstate or overseas playing in this competition this year. The best local comp in the country.
Jess Colden goes crack right to center field. Alicia Marching had to take a step forward, or step back, and then a step forward, and the ball goes right where she was standing.
Yeah, nice piece of the ball from Golden. Gee, I thought it was out off the bat. So good catch and well read from Marchink for the first out.
Everything looks so big off the bat from this angle. Every ball that's hit, I'm like, oh, it's a home run, and then it's not.
A shallow fly ball.
Yeah. I mean, that other one from Kate was pretty close. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
Not very windy tonight. It's sort of a rare evening at West Beach where there's almost no wind. It was 27 degrees today, strangely, in October.
With no wind, that's the strangest part.
19 degrees right now. I just checked on the BOM, but yeah, only 19 degrees with no wind is like paradise here at West Beach.
That's you in your t-shirt without your jumper on.
It's nice out.
I don't know if it's that nice.
No, I was just in Norway for a couple of weeks. I'll take the 19 degree and no wind.
That was a big hack there by Zoe. Love to see a big hack from our lefties. We know they're fast. We know they can put a bunt or a slap, but sort of taking those big swings just pushes the infield back a little bit, stops them from creeping in. So good to see that she's still swinging the bat too.
Haven't been a lot of lefties in the competition as of late.
Oh, what a pitch by Talia. That little outside changeup just gets her fanning.
It's her second strikeout of the game.
How's this one on the Aqaba replay? Pitch perfect by Talia. That's a great pitch. She really hit that pitch well. That changeup's got really good spin, and it just sort of died at the end there.
Brie Marcelino goes swinging again. It's a booming shot to right field. Beal having a look. It's over her head. Marcelino's got some wheels. She's rounding second. The relay's coming in. Marcelino held up at third, but it is a booming triple to right field, and the Magpies are threatening again.
Just the second hit of the game for Port Adelaide. Both of them triples, and they've got another runner in scoring position, threatening to score one in each of the first 3 innings.
We do have 2 outs on the board to West Torrens and Talia Sutton. But Jess Maslin, a threat as well, especially on a still night at West Beach. And she goes swinging early. Will drop into foul territory. What an effort from Burridge trying to hunt that ball down.
Well, if we thought Port Adelaide started the game really patient, they've definitely come out swinging now. They're all aggressive. Jess swinging at that first pitch there. So it's good to see Port Adelaide are out here to hit. You know, like that's what they do best. They're a hitting team, and good to see that they're here. They've brought their bats and they're swinging.
Well, goes swinging right on cue again. Another foul ball. Port Adelaide down to their final strike of the inning once again. There's a lot of teams last season. Port Adelaide seemed to just compound runs together. Big inning here, big inning there. And all of a sudden, ball games are over. You run out of time or they put up too many runs. West Torrens have kept them in check early despite some early threatening opportunities, particularly in the first inning from Port Adelaide. Maslin up the center. Moving on is Marchink. And West Torrens allow the triple, but nothing more. They keep it a 2-1 game with their bats coming up back at the top of the order to start the bottom of the third.
Is the Aqaba replay having a look at Maslin there. Just got under it a little, got plenty of it, but great pitching from Sutton. Got ahead of the count with 2 foul balls from Maslin. Went high and hard and then went heavy and down to get the fly ball, and did really well out of that inning considering the opposition. Golden, Thompson, Marcelino and Maslin. So what were we talking about? We're talking about potentially 13 interstate/international players in this Premier League competition this season. Seacombe Tigers, surely they'll be a team on the move this year. We've heard all the talk about Walkerville's import is very much Monica Perry-esque.
Well, Walkerville, I mean, they've been a perennial finals team, and then last year weren't that normal contending Walkerville side that I think everybody's been used to. So I'm sure.
Welcome back, Chelsea Robinson.
Yeah, you have Chelsea Robinson, you have an elite import, and things can turn very quickly for you. What about Glenelg? I mean, they were that turnaround team last year. They made a really nice run to a preliminary final.
Johanna Grauer led them through to the finals, even when they were riddled with injury.
And I think they've got players incoming as well, Glenelg. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of margin for error in this season.
And that top 4 last year was so close.
Yeah.
Like the points between 1 and 4, I think at one point we could have finished first, we could have finished 5th. And this was like with 2 games left of the season or something. So it's great to see so much competition, and I absolutely love seeing all the imports and interstate because it just makes everyone better.
Don't forget, West Orange and Sturt were separated by head-to-head because they were tied on points, tied on runs against. That's how close it was in the Premier League last year. We haven't spoken about Hills. They've got a couple from interstate and overseas coming over as well this season. So we'll be a team on the improve, seeing as that they had a bunch of young talent playing from last year. So stick around. The Premier League's going to be huge for season 24-25.
Yeah, on paper it feels close, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's close already. With in game number 1, we're in the bottom of the 3rd. We've got a 1-run ball game.
But James, you just mentioned it. The teams had to be separated by head-to-head last year, these two teams. And these games matter, whether it's game 1 or game 21.
Yeah,
still 2 points.
Each team played 24 games over the course of the season before we get to finals.
Well, Amber Hood walks.
Hung around in the box for a little bit there, though. That was pretty close, I think, but maybe just missed the bottom of the zone nonetheless.
Yeah, she, in this case, BB might stand for bread and butter for Amber Hood because she is a walk machine. One of the best leadoff hitters in the competition because of her presence at the plate and with the strike zone. Well, Maddie Scott returned to the Premier League after a few years at college and with the national team with a double and later scored. So any kind of anxieties or pressures about what impact she might have can quickly disappear.
She's going to be such a key player for West Torrens this year, and I love seeing her make that switch to the left-handed batter's box. If you remember 5 years ago, I don't think she was in the left-handed batter box.
Yeah, she's just starting out,
yeah.
But she's perfected it, hasn't she?
Oh, she's absolutely made it her own.
We're talking about the 16, 17-year-old players on West Torrens, that every year there seems to be a player that steps in the lineup and makes an impact. We'll go back, 6 or 7 years ago, Maddie Scott was that 16-year-old.
Pitching.
She was pitching.
Yeah, who all of a sudden was this, who's going to be their pitcher this season? And they go to the grand final in her rookie year. I think they went back in the second year.
I just recall Maddie pitching in that grand final in the pouring rain too.
Walkerville.
Yeah.
That was a great game. West Torrens and Walkerville had a couple close tussles. West Torrens had a long string of a series of, unfortunate heartbreaks, we can call them, before they finally broke through.
And won 4 in a row, and then Walkerville got on top.
Was popped straight up in the air. Edwards makes the play, 1 down. And that's sort of what's on the line for West Torrens this year. They have been, in the last decade, really the most consistent team in terms of being there right at the end and in the final game. They've won 2 in a row. They won 3 in a row. You sort of feel like that's where the dynasty word is cemented. A legacy year for West Torrens.
Well, you ask Anthony Weatherstone, he was part of, did they win 6 in a row? He was part of 5 of them.
I remember growing up seeing West Torrens, and when in my youth, West Torrens were going through that legacy when they just seemed to win absolutely everything.
It's already been a phenomenal era. They can take it to the next level if you can win 3 in a row.
I think they played in 3 junior grand finals last season as well. So the future looks bright for their club.
Kaesler's been a big part of that, and she knocks it to short. It takes an awful hop. There's a sort of an awkward slide from Marcelino as well. Runner advances to third. Kaesler's on base, and it's a 1-3 split with 1 out.
How is a base running from Amber there? Marcelino does a really good job just to stop that, to be honest, and protect herself, but Amber does not miss a beat, and she runs all the way into third.
Yeah, she's got a bad hop. I'll be
Bad
interested
hop.
if you have a look to your left there, Eric, to see Sue Norris and Marcy Trzynski colouring the circles tonight. So thank you very much to our team of officials. Did I mention before, Damien McCauley on the plate, Pete Fairley at first, and Ian Gray, the reigning umpire of the year, over at third base tonight. So thank you to all our officials. Still waiting on the official, with runners at the corners for West Torrens. Kaesler at first, Hood at third, and Emma Burridge, the RBI in the first inning. Eric, did you?
I couldn't see.
My eyes aren't that good.
Well, I'll go to the app.
Emma Burridge, though, had that run batted in. Batting in the cleanup spot.
Cool as a cucumber she is. Very good under pressure. You see Liz really hammering that inside tonight. I think she seems to just be missing it. You see she falls behind 2-0. If she can really hammer that inside and find that for a strike early on, I think she'll probably be able to get ahead of the hitters a little bit better. There that is. There it is. Perfect. Right on cue. Nice.
Official was a single. Bad hop to Marcelino. You can't.
Yeah, that was
you
tough.
can't not reward the batter for a good hit, but you can't
Punish.
punish the fielder for a bad bounce, right?
There she goes as Liz sort of finds that inside corner, having a bit more success there.
2's on the board and 2 on base.
She stays on that inside pitch, just tries to climb the ladder a little bit. Not a bad pitch, but Emma does well to stay off of it. We'll see where she goes after, I think almost exclusively, all 5 of these pitches that she's seen so far have been on the inside corner.
She's worked it full, and it was a full count when she delivered that RBI single in the first inning for Emma Burridge in a lengthy at-bat. And round 2 between Engler and Burridge is just as good as round 1.
And I think if you remember, that was an outside pitch that Emma just peppered perfectly, and you'll see here they're not giving her that pitch at all.
That pitch might have been low, and it is, so it's bases loaded. A patient at-bat from Emma Burridge, who has been on base twice today and has the only run batted in for West Torrens. It's been a confident presence for her.
Yeah, great start from Burridge, an RBI single and a walk, but Kaesler took off on the pitch, although it was a base on balls, only with the 1 out. It was risky because if she put the ball into play, line drive, could have turned into a double play. So good aggressive play from West Torrens to load the bases. Here's Sophie Hoyle.
Staying with that inside pitch, Liz, and she finds a strike first pitch this time.
Another elite hitter in this West Torrens lineup is Sophie Hoyle.
I think she jammed Soph last time on that little check swing to shortstop. Looking to do the same sort of thing again, as that one just misses a little bit inside. Jess calls time out to go and talk to her pitcher.
Yeah, now a hitter's count for Sophie Hoyle. Going inside twice. Is just trying to get her to back off just a little bit, maybe set up for an outside pitch. Hoyle is a pull hitter, so it's risky taking on that inside.
It's a 1-1 count. And it's cracked up the middle. This game is tied. West Torrens might even have the lead. Here's the throw to the plate. Sliding in safe is Kaesler. And Sophie Hoyle cashes in a pair. And the Eagles are in the lead.
Great
replay.
Arkabar replay. You can see Sophie just gets her hand to that inside pitch. What a great throw by Centerfield. Just hit the glove of the cut there, but Soph does a really good job just getting her hands through, doesn't try and do too much. Lana's base running isn't perfect, doesn't miss a beat. Throw was pretty close, actually. I'd like to see maybe what would have happened if it came the whole way through.
The middle of the lineup for West Torrens performing in a big way.
2 walks and 2 hits.
And 3 RBI. Get them on and bring them in. It's a pretty simple job for that top of the lineup. Working their way down to the middle. Easy game. Marching fouls it away. Still a threatening position here for West Torrens. They've still got 2 runners on. It was a big bases loaded moment for Sophie Hoyle. Marching puts the ball in play. Marcelino has to get down, flips to third. That was a nice little play from the shortstop. Gets the lead runner. Marchink will stay on first, but Burridge will have to head back to the dugout. Here's a look at the Archibald replay.
Score at fielder's choice with a 6-5 for the play. So Charlize Callahan in the game. Nice play from Marcelino.
Big shot to center field, but ranging over is Kate Geldof, and some power shown from Caitlin Holt. But 2 runs in the inning off the bat of Sophie Hoyle, rather, who cashes in 2 runs. And through 3 innings, these teams are going at each other here. They've gone back and forth. It's 3-2 West Torrens.
There's Kate Geldof taking a catch. The Belgian player playing for Port Adelaide this season. 3 complete innings. It's the defending champs. West Torrens leading 3 runs to 2. Let's do a bit of comparison between the pitchers. Both thrown 3 innings. Liz Engler's thrown 3 walks and a strikeout. Talia Sutton 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Steph, you're the pitching expert. 68 pitches for Liz Engler and 48 for Talia Sutton.
Pretty similar for the both of them. You'll see maybe the ball count's a little bit high, almost for both of them.
I mean, the box score shows the stats, but it doesn't necessarily show the situation. And you can take a look at that first inning right off the bat. 2 walks conceded from Talia Sutton, but she gets 3 soft contact plays in a row, only concedes the 1 run. When Sutton's got into trouble, she's got herself out of it pretty consistently.
She's had absolute nerves of steel, and that just goes to show Amber's leadership behind the plate and what she's doing for Talia. You can almost see her, like, you can even right now, you can almost see, like, be in the conversation that Amber's having with Talia. Just keeping her engaged, keeping her locked in. But no, both pitching stats right now very, very similar, not a whole lot separating them.
You mentioned that body language of Amber Hood, an interesting point, especially from a pitcher's perspective. Is that something that you almost notice right away from whoever you're throwing to, is how they're presenting themselves?
Absolutely. You can see Amber bring so much energy, and for someone like Talia who stays so well composed, it almost feels like the perfect pair. Because sometimes if you've got a pitcher and a catcher, they're both too high energy, or both very more low-key. And Charlize fouls up. Lana! And did she catch it? I couldn't see. She got it!
She got it!
She got it!
The first web gem of the year!
Oh, Lambs.
She took one at playing shortstop in the grand final last year. Let's have a look at the range of Lana Kaiser on the Archibald replay.
Far out. And to get that ball to stick in that glove, how many times do you see that incredible range, but then that really struggle to hold on to the ball? She does such a good job in that backhand. Oh, I'm out there, I'm catching it for her. That was fantastic, Lana. Well done. That sigh of relief almost as she gets up. Oh, it stayed in my glove. And how, as a young pitcher, when you see the defense behind you like that, it's got to give you confidence, right? They're going to do absolutely everything they can to help her out, and they've done that there.
Absolutely, and well said, because, you know, Lana Kaiser's one of the leaders in this competition and in this state. And to go back to her natural third base position after playing a couple of seasons at shortstop, she's made great range and able to take that catch. Maybe something that she's developed as a shortstop player.
It's an interesting hypothesis you've got there, James. Don't mind that.
Well, she's taken some screamers before. And in big moments, too. Think back to that grand final a couple years ago. Lana Kaesler had those
Just
two.
Maslin hit a line drive that if it would have gone to the fence, they probably would have won. And then that later in that inning,
she
hit the
climbed
home run.
about 6 steps on a ladder and then hit that big bomb. This one knocked to the right side. That one goes foul.
And last year's catch made the top 10 plays of the year as well. It went so high in the air, just Golden got all of it. It's just that it went straight up in the air in an elevator shaft, and she watched it, and she turned, and she spun, and then right at the last minute, she dove backwards.
I actually think if she didn't catch it, it would have been at least a triple.
Yeah.
Because she was running.
She probably would have got home, because she's so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, she was rounding bases. That drops down. You got to find the ball. As Engler up the center of the field, but right to Alicia Marching.
Port Adelaide putting some really good bat on ball here, but Alicia just seems to be gobbling it all up out there in centre field. But what a great swing here we can see from Liz on the Arkabar replay. Straight up the middle, straight to the fielder, unfortunately for her.
Yeah, nice piece of the ball from Engler. Here's Kate Geldof. She, in her Premier League debut, led her first at-bat was a triple.
Not a bad start.
Yeah, we were wondering about the new faces in the lineup for both of the teams today. Maddie Scott, first at-bat, a double. Later scored Kate Geldof a triple and showed her wheel. She's got some serious speed. 19 stolen bases in her time this season in the Belgium Division 1 competition.
Yeah, she's definitely would have played quite a bit of softball. Over in Europe, they have lots of competition, lots of games. I know last year she played for Roof, came third in the Winners European Cup. Over in the Netherlands that was played. So she's just come off season, right? Like she's come off of her season, not off season. She's come off of her season. So she will be primed, ready to go. She's been seeing pitches. I wonder, her last game was probably quite recent. I don't know if we can figure out when that was, but she'd be in form.
And there's still European competitions that are kind of finishing up around right now, too, or just finished the last couple
The
weeks.
Italian League finished last weekend.
Yeah, she played in the Dutch League playoffs. Her team didn't go through to the finals, but I would say September. So I think she's had a couple of weeks off.
Did I see like on that baseball, softball jobs overseas? I think Germany just had their finals on the weekend that just went, maybe? Either way, I mean, the softball season feels like it starts early and goes late. She's got a hitter's count here. A pitch from Talia Sutton.
Thought Damien was going to throw out there.
Yeah.
Some dramatic strike call.
I think he did ring her up, and Pete Fairley down the first baseline is having a laugh to himself. We'll look after the Blues.
He's just stretching. He's just stretching. Early season for the umpires, too. Well, he can ring her up that time. Talia Sutton with a 1-2-3 inning, including a strikeout of the Belgium national team center fielder. And Sutton has pitched the last 2 innings scoreless and has a 3-2 lead going to the bottom of the 4th.
What a great pitch there from Talia. Change up that she just crossed Amber up a little bit, but you can see the rotation on that ball.
Can we see it again? Let's have another look at it. If the ball bounces before it gets to the catcher's glove, they either have to tag or throw it up to first. Port Adelaide could have missed a trick here.
Oh yeah, that's a drop third strike. Did she go to tag her?
I don't know. Was that a bump ball? Did she catch it on the full?
No.
Well, it was weird because Geldof started going down the line there.
You can see Amber with her glove is kind of like
claiming it.
Don't know.
Either way,
Amber half claimed it and got the call.
Yeah.
But a 3-2 game here. West Torrens are in the lead, but they haven't been in the lead.
Here we are at replay again. It definitely, that hit the ground.
I don't know. It is hard. Can we zoom?
Can we zoom? Have we unlocked that feature yet?
Brandon smiles. He's got something cooking in there.
Spacequake Sports already bring in the goods with that strike zone. I'm still chuffed with that. We're going to get to the bottom half or the home half of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Talia Sutton, who just had that strikeout, she will lead things off, followed by Jackie Beal and then Amber Hood. West Torrens took the lead in the third inning. They were behind early. They were down 1-0. The first batter of the game, Jess Golden, ended up scoring after walking. West Torrens leveled the game in the second inning, or in the first inning rather, with a double from Maddie Scott and a single from Emma Burridge. Port Adelaide, they scored another in the second. And then West Torrens had to claw back and score a pair of runs in the third to take a 3-2 lead. It has been tight from the start. There's been runners on base every half inning except for one we just saw with Talia Sutton. So there's been pressure in the game. It's been an entertaining one. Hopefully a sign of things to come in the Premier League season. Talia Sutton gets a good piece, but it's flared right up in the air to Zoe Thompson, and there's one down.
Yeah, great recap, Eric. Arkabar replay just showing a nice piece of the ball from Talia Sutton. Impressive with the bat. She hasn't backed down. She got behind in the count early and made it tough for England the first time, and then a fly ball to the outfield that time around.
And keep in mind, this game has kind of got late early here. We may be in the fourth inning, but just a reminder for maybe all you people who have slumbered through the offseason that these are timed games in the minor rounds. It's 90 minutes, no new innings after 85. We have played, I don't know if we started bang on 8. It'll be up to the umpire's discretion, but we've played probably just over 65 or so at this point. So we're into the final 20. We're in the witching hour of this game where wins become losses and losses become wins.
You've done it again. You've said all that needs to be said in that. That both these teams in this arm wrestle at the moment.
And it truly has been a bit of an arm wrestle between these two teams for the last few seasons. And we're not just talking finals, but it's been very back and forth between the two of them.
Six meetings last year. Port Adelaide were 3-1 up before the final series, before West Torrens won the two finals they played against each other. 3 wins apiece. And Port Adelaide actually didn't play a game where they were scoreless until the grand final, when 6 in the fifth, 6 in the bottom of the fifth to walk it off.
In a mercy rule fashion.
Yeah. Base on balls for Jackie Beal with 1 out.
Yeah, hard to win a game when you don't score a run. And Steph Drzezinski, the pitcher in that game.
What do they say though? The best defense is a good offense? Is that?
Best offense is a good defense?
One of the two.
I mean, it's a pretty
argument could go both ways, right? Yeah.
Offense wins games, defense wins championships. You could say it all. All doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
Just missing the bottom of the zone there. Liz, that nice little pitch. Just struggling to find the Damien zone today. As Amber finds herself in a 2-0 position, as she quite often does.
Already a walk so far in this game. A ground out to shortstop, her first plate appearance.
Big at-bat, though, for Liz Angler, because if Amber Hood gets on, it'll be likely 2 on base with Maddie Scott and Lana Kaesler due up, and a chance to grab some distance for the first time. No one's led by more than 1 run in this game. It's been a 1-swing ball game from the moment we've said play ball. To the right side, Montana Edwards gets the lead runner. Marcelino had to think about trying to force that play, but Amber Hood pretty speedy down the base pass. That's a huge out for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, good play from Edwards as well to turn that into the lead runner with now 2 out.
Yeah, that's a great play by Montana. That's a hard turn as well. If you've never done that from second base, it's not like the way your body naturally wants to go.
Premier League debut for Abby Luttrell, who come in to do the base running for the catcher speed up.
Maddie Scott, the 2-hitter, stands at the plate. Hard hit ball right up the middle. It's a good snag from Liz Angler. And after allowing a walk to Jackie Beal, she gets Hood and Scott and keeps it a one-score game as we head to the 5th inning. And looking at the time here, Steph and James, I mean, this inning, it's not unrealistic to say that this could go 13 minutes or so. Port Adelaide, if you're Ben Lucas in that dugout, you've got to look at this and say, hey, we have to score right here.
Official word I'm hearing is we started at 8:04, so we might have an extra few minutes up our sleeve.
Great, thank you. That's
very helpful.
That does
That is
help.
huge. Port Adelaide would love that news.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide got 8-9-1 to come in this inning, so by the end of this inning, we'll be turning it around for the 3rd time against the young teenager. She's battled hard so far. 3rd time through the lineup against a quality opposition is going to be a massive challenge. This could be the inning that makes or breaks their game.
So how big are these at-bats here from Montana Edwards, 8 and 9, to just try to get one of those on for that dangerous top of the lineup that features Jess Golden, Zoe Thompson, and Brie Marcelino?
It's critical for the game. You want to get your season off to a good start. And with a win, it's going to happen here. You called it witching hour, and this is, one of those moments in the game that could tell the tale.
What I'm seeing from both teams, though, is that real sense of finals aren't won in October, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the start. I'm not seeing too much funky stuff. I'm not seeing too many bunts. We saw, a stolen base by Jess at the start of the game. But we're really I'm seeing both teams turn up just to see what the other team's going to bring to the table. And this, while obviously when we get to the pointy end of the season, those points come so important. For now, it just kind of feels like they're scoping each other out, trying to see what it's going to be like as this season goes on.
Well, if you want to find two teams in the competition that know how to navigate a season, you won't find any two better. Both Port Adelaide and West Torrens have been on the field for the final out of the last 3 seasons playing each other in the grand final. Montana Edwards, she's played some good second base today.
And a patient turn at bat as well to go 3-0 as the 8 hitter. Has an RBI in the game and a hard shot to the shortstop as Amber Hood takes a timeout just to speak to her pitcher. This time last year, it was a grand final replay. However, it was Port Adelaide that ran out victors 4-1.
So it's still another tight game there. Great pitch by Talia to get herself back in the game. You'll see Amber call timeout there in that 3-0 pitch, knowing how crucial these at-bats here in these 8-9 part of the lineup.
She's battled her way back. We've seen this a few times. She's fallen behind 3-0 or 3-1, and she's worked her way back into full counts or better. Grounded back up the middle, right to Sutton. And from 3-0 to 1-3, it is a first out that Sutton retires.
Like about a replay, she does the fielding, gets the throw over to Hoyle for the first out. So walk to start the game, and since then has
been lights out.
Only given up 2 hits for the 2 base runners that they've had, and they've both been triples.
It's a stretch of 15 batters. Up the middle again, and Sutton's got hops. That's 6 sat down in a row for Talia Sutton. And she's getting that ground ball right now.
Don't you just love pitchers that can field? You can see that. I mean, Talia's done a great job there, also to stay composed.
Yep.
But also, I was going to say the last out of the last inning was Liz too, and she played that off like it was no big deal. But that was hit hard right back at her.
Jess Golden comes up to bat, and it's 2 outs. And for one of the most dangerous players and damaging players in the competition, she's got no one on base to try to push around. Those 2 outs, as we mentioned at the start of this inning, were huge for both teams. And Talia Sutton has done her job.
Just even saw her crack a smile there. There hadn't been too many. She's been super dialed in and focused, I think.
Comes back with a strike to Golden.
Is that the key to a great picture, Steph? Don't give any emotion away. You're out there still face. That's what I'm saying.
Don't smile?
No, not at all.
No, you can appreciate a good play.
Absolutely. I actually feel like in my youth, a lot of coaching was around not showing emotions as a pitcher and being completely not closed off, but yeah, being completely stone-faced. But I think as Jess fouls that one down left, Landa's not going to grab that one? No.
She's already made her web gem of the day.
I think sort of, I don't know, me personally in my career, as you sort of like evolve, it's not necessarily about being stone-faced, but maybe sometimes you can use that sort of emotion to your advantage, and you can almost use that to dictate how the game and how your opposition is feeling in that moment. So there are moments to be stone-faced, but you don't have to be like that.
Up the middle again, and Sutton just avoids some damage. It's a base hit up the middle. The third base hit of the day for Port Adelaide, which feels like a wild statement to make for such a talented hitting team.
That's some good hitting there by Jess. Doesn't try and do too much, just plops them. It only just gets to extension just about and just hits the ball straight up the middle. Really well done by Jess.
Third time through the lineup now. It was Golden's third plate appearance. She's now 1 for 2 with a walk. Zoe Thompson, 0 for 1 with a walk. Knock to the third side. Kaesler knocks it down, and she just has to eat it. And from 2 out and nobody on to Brie Marcelino having 2 runners on board.
Yeah, that one pretty tricky for Kaesler. As it rolled to her, and she sort of would probably been in 2 minds of where to play, lead runner or first base, and now with 2 out, there's 2 runners aboard.
Well, if Brie Marcelino can do what she did in her last at-bat, that was a triple to the wall. Port Adelaide will have the lead. One swing can tilt the trajectory of this one. That ball in the dirt. Hood fakes the throw, trying to keep the runners honest. Zoe Thompson at first, Jess Golden.
I think you'll see maybe it's a pinch runner for the catch a speed up rule, even though Jess is
2
so
outs.
Yeah.
Marcelino played collegiate at UConn. After her collegiate career, came to Australia, played in Western Australia for Kareen, and then last year with South Australia, or in South Australia, with South Australia at Port Adelaide. Both can be true.
And for South Australia.
Yeah, with for
at the Gilly Shield.
But not against.
Not against.
2-2 count.
Big moment here for Talia. Big moment for Brie.
Ball in play, and it's trapped by Maddie Scott, who saves a run by holding on to that ball. Maddie Scott, what a play.
It's an infield single to Marcelino to load the bases for Port Adelaide. Chloe Davis is the runner at third. Was it Davis? Yep. Chloe Davis at third gets held up from Coach Lucas, but you said it, that backhand has saved a run.
That goes down as just a single to 6, but there's a lot more to that score than meets the eye.
Maddie has got some incredible range, and honestly, she's got a phenomenal throw too. Brie was fast enough to get up that line, but I can't wait to see this season the sort of range and the arm that Maddie's going to show us at shortstop. But what a moment right now for Jess Maslin. Season opener, loaded bases, 2 out, down by 1 run. As she takes first pitch for a ball.
Scored Zoe Thompson's infield grounder as an error to Kaesler. So we've gone 2 ground outs to the pitcher, single error, infield single to load the bases for Maslin. Are you surprised to see Maslin watch 2 down the middle?
Well, the first one was a ball. So I wasn't.
close.
So one down the middle.
That. But that second, yeah, that's absolutely.
Maslin goes fishing. That one goes foul. So
She had a bat on the shoulder, is what I was saying. She definitely wasn't
No,
swinging.
she
no matter
was.
where
She
it
looked like she was
Yeah.
swinging. No, she's been around the game a little bit. She's not afraid of a pitcher's count. I think she probably has a little bit of trust, a bit of faith in herself to see some pitches. You know, her previous at bat, she's flied out to the catcher and she hit a bit of a rocket to center field, but straight down Alicia's throat.
Sutton delivers. Ball in play again. Charging on is Scott. It was a funny hop, and she makes the play. Port Adelaide load the bases, but a pair of plays from Maddie Scott helps get the Eagles out of the jam and maintain the lead.
Charging the ball, takes it around the waist, around belt height, fires it across for the third out. So that's the middle of the fifth inning right there. Port Adelaide failed to score with loaded bases. Scott's backhand stopped Chloe Davis from scoring on that ground ball to the backhand side, and there she is. A welcome return to the Eagles' nest for one of their youngsters, born and bred Maddie Scott.
Well, now it becomes a game of time. So there's 6 minutes before there can be no new inning called right now. That's plenty of time for Port Adelaide and Liz Engler to get 3 outs, but barely enough time. She has to be efficient. It has to be a 3 up, 3 down, or maybe 3 outs in 4 at-bats. If you're West Torrens, I mean, how much are you aware of the time as one of the players in the dugout in these situations when something like this pops up once every few games in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because obviously you want to play the game and you want to win, but at the end of the day, as soon as that thought enters your head, I guarantee you,
something happens.
Exactly.
Well, they're not hustling as the moment. They still had their team chat. They're still taking their time getting to their positions. If they'd quickly done that, maybe had one warm-up pitch in between innings and got set and ready, we could have played ball maybe, 45, 60 seconds ago. Every minute's going to count from here.
So you're saying don't tempt the softball gods, Steph Jasinski.
Correct. Yeah, just play the game. Let the coaches
let
coach.
the gods do their thing.
Yeah, let the coaches coach. As a player, you kind of just got to go out there and play.
No, it's a good point, and you have seen in these scenarios sometimes, I think if you asked a coach and they answered honestly, they might say, yeah, it might be a mound visit, it might be calling people in for a quick little discussion, but...
The risk is, though, if you've got that mindset and then you come in and you start grooving the ball down the middle, you're giving up, chances for Kayser and Burridge, and all of a sudden you've got 2 runners aboard.
Well, it is a walk, not the start that Port Adelaide would have wanted. 4 minutes to go before no new innings. That's the unofficial time. But Emma Burridge up to bat. She's had a huge game. Had the single in the first inning that scored a run with 2 outs. It was a full count knock as well, and then worked a full count again in the third. Ended up on first base with a walk. Both these battles between Engler and Burridge have been phenomenal in this game so far. And Burridge has edged her out both times. She lays down the bunt, a little small ball. Callahan moving over, makes the play, but job done from Emma Burridge, who continues her fine game. Runner in scoring position for Sophie Hoyle, who had the key moment in this game. Her team was down 2-1. There was 1 out. Bases were loaded in the third inning, and it was a 2 RBI single up the middle for Sophie Hoyle that put West Torrens up 3-2, and that's where the score stays now.
I don't mind that move from West Torrens, putting the bunt down. Gives up an out, but it breaks up that double play, and that all of a sudden that quick inning is less likely on their behalf.
An insurance run could be important too.
That's what I was going to say.
You just took the words out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's classic softball as well, isn't it? You're leading by a run. That's another insurance run if you can get that runner across the plate.
In a game where runs are at a premium.
Yeah.
Big shot to left field. It's straight up in the air, and Zoe Thompson makes the play. So things are looking fine for Port Adelaide. If they can get Alicia Marchink out, they will have likely one more crack, although we'll be at the mercy of the umpires. The game started, according to the scorers, at 8:04. And I think that's exactly the question, perhaps, they were asking the scorers about what time.
Absolutely.
What time is it, effectively, was the question. Was the question. Alicia Marchink up to bat.
I will say this was a pretty low-scoring game, I think.
Especially
the first
early
game,
season, yeah.
Yeah, early in the season. However, we have seen over the previous years pitchers dominate at the start of the season. It's not been an uncommon... that one just brushed Alicia off the plate. That has not been an uncommon trend over the years as we see pitchers come in and the hitters take a little bit to warm up. Got real close. Let's see on the replay, on the Aqaba replay right here. Ooh.
Interesting time for a visit to the mound here.
Was it Port Adelaide that called this?
Yeah, Jess Golden's called it.
And now
I reckon she's been told this probably the last batter.
Yeah, by umpire.
Yeah. I can't see of any other reason why she would have been out there for so long.
Because now there's literally less than 60 seconds, unless this is an outright on this pitch.
And Marchink's played it like a professional out there, seeing the first three. Second one nearly hit her, but she's been patiently watching the others.
Well, she did get a walk her first at bat, so she has been seeing some pitches.
Was on base on her second plate appearance, although that was a fielder's choice.
There's that pitch that Liz has been effective with tonight. She's just struggled to find it consistently, but when she's hit that pitch, haven't really seen much happen.
Well, we've just hit 85 minutes on the unofficial clock. This one knocked over towards short. Marcelina, well, right place, right time, right in front of the runner, and then throws the runner out.
She went for the 4-out play.
So 4 outs in the inning for Port Adelaide. Let's see. We're going to watch the umpire with bated breath. Is there calling time of game?
I think he called it
I
already.
think he called it already before, yeah. So there you go. That is how this game will end, right on the nose. 85 minutes. That's the rule. No new innings, but West Torrens, they grind out a victory here. And, I mean, let's go back all the way to the first. Let's rewind in time. All the way back to the third batter of this game. It was Bree Marcelino up to bat, and Talia Sutton, the 16-year-old pitcher, in the circle, starting versus the team that's been to the last 3 grand finals, 2 walks. And, she got out a big out, and they only allowed 1 run, and they end up winning 3-2. That was a pivotal moment in the game, and it was right at batter number 3.
Emma Burridge then returned favour in the bottom half of the first inning with an RBI single. Nice play from Maddie Scott there against Montana Edwards. Kate Geldof across the plate after her Premier League debut triple. Here's the RBI shot from Sophie Hoyle. 2 RBIs, 2 runs across the plate.
Yeah, that put West Torrens up for good, 3-2. But it got dicey late. It was bases loaded for Port Adelaide in their last half inning, and they had a great opportunity. This would have scored a run, but Maddie Scott said absolutely not, reaching on the backhand. If that ball was just hit, well, if Maddie Scott wasn't playing shortstop, I mean, we're probably talking about a tie game potentially in round number 1.
Well, let's talk key moments, and then I'm going to hit you guys up with the Spacequake Sports Player of the Game. No sponsor for that at the moment if you're interested at home. Key moments, well, it was Jess Golden scored the first run of the game, and I said it earlier. You could have written the script. Base on balls, stolen base, brought in by Marcelino. Then at the bottom half of the first inning, welcome back Maddie Scott. First game back in the Premier League for a number of years, led off with a double, scored off the bat of Emma Burridge. Fast forward to the third inning, and we saw the 2-run shot from Sophie Hoyle. They're the big moments of the games. We saw a couple of triples in between. Kate Geldof, Brienne Marcelino, who went 2 for 3. But in the battle of the pitches, we saw young Talia Sutton throw 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, gave up only 2 runs to the team that has been to 3 grand finals in a row.
So who's your player of the game?
That's who I've asked. I've asked you guys.
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I've got Maddie. Maddie was pivotal at so many moments. Also, Sophie came up with that essentially game-deciding 2-run RBI. But I don't know. The pitcher in me can't go past Talia, right?
Yeah, if you weren't going to say Talia Sutton, I was. I mean, she started the game with 2 walks. She limited the damage. She did it again in the second inning. She only allowed 4 hits. And after she opened the game with back-to-back walks, no free bases after that the rest of the way versus a very talented lineup.
Including some clean fielding.
And bases loaded with the game on the line late versus Jess Maslin. And she ended up getting a ground out. Now, my runner-up to that, or maybe equal, would have been the person that helped with that ground out, Maddie Scott, who made some great plays at shortstop. The reason why it's not a 3-3 game is because Maddie Scott made that great defensive play. So I guess maybe a tie between Talia Sutton and Maddie Scott.
You take the catcher speed up rule out of this game. Jess Golden standing on second base for that hit to Maddie Scott. Is she going to score on that play or at least take on the throw?
So I think maybe we should take on the throw, but does Maddie Scott make that throw?
No.
Do you want to? Yeah, I don't know.
Either way,
we'll never know. West Torrens win.
West Torrens win 3-2 in, well, what a great return to the Softball SA Premier League. A 3-2 game, blockbuster this Saturday. The end of round 1, Seacombe versus West Torrens, Hills Heat versus Walkerville. And at 3 p.m. live on Spacequake Sports, it's the Sturt Falcons versus the Port Adelaide Magpies. Thanks to the Arkabar Hotel. Thanks to Spacequake Sports. Thanks to Eric Bolner and Steph Trzynski. It's been a huge night with the celebrity game, the opening round of the Premier League, and it is my pleasure to say good night.